This is Weather Impact 24/7 stream. We're live right now, Facebook, YouTube, of course, as always on 5 News Plus. A new severe thunderstorm warning. This one's going to be for Benton County. We have a rapidly intensifying thunderstorm that is producing some hail as large as 2 inches in diameter. This is going to be coming close to Bella Vista. You can see that warning is relatively small in of itself, but doesn't let that fool you. That storm is certainly packing a punch. 1.5 inches hailstones. You can see that hail core right now just moved to the north of Interstate 40. That will be pushing up towards 71. This warning runs through 9:30. Pea Ridge, Bella Vista included in this new severe thunderstorm warning. We'll take a look at our hail tracker, and what we're going to find is that hail core really pulsed up. It wasn't much, but it really pulsed up over the last couple of minutes. As a result, the Weather Service went ahead and issued this severe thunderstorm warning. Technically, parts of Bentonville may very well be included, but the fact is most of this is going to be just to the north of Bentonville. I'll do this. We'll put a track on it. This is moving at about 30 miles per hour. And with that in mind, we'll be able to give you an idea of when this is going to roll through. It's probably going to be crossing the state line here over the next few minutes. That puts it at Summit Church at 9:30, Jacket at 9:41, and Cove at 9:48. The hail core itself right here. You start to see those pinks and those purples. That's where we're going to expect those hailstones to be falling. In addition to that, 60-mile-per-hour straight line winds, frequent lightning, frequent thunder. As I'm looking at some of our weather cameras around the area, we've got one in Jack Links, on the Jack Links building in Bentonville, looking over towards that general direction. Decent amount of lightning coming out of that. So you're probably hearing the thunder, very heavy downpours as well. And of course, we do have that potential for some large hailstones to be falling out of that as we speak. This is a cell that was behaving pretty nicely, but it just encountered a little bit of fuel, and it really started to blossom pretty quickly over the last couple of minutes. That warning extends all the way to the Arkansas-Missouri state line, at which point the National Weather Service out of Springfield is probably going to have to fill in their side of the state line with an additional severe thunderstorm warning. This one runs specifically until 9:30, and the current time is 9:24. If you're just now tuning in, we do have widespread showers and thunderstorms moving through the area. The only one that is severe as of right now is the one moving through parts of Benton County. Not to say the others aren't strong, and there have been some small hail reports near Muldrow and Roland earlier, about a half hour or so ago. These are all moving towards the east, northeast, and there is a more favorable environment, especially in the river valley. So we're watching some of these closely to see if they too don't try to pulse up somewhat as like this one has done. Interestingly enough, about the one moving through Benton County, the storm fuel there is actually a little bit lower, which is of intrigue, of course. In terms of the speed of this cell, I want to make sure I've got it updated. It's moving a little bit quicker now, up to about 45 miles per hour. So it's not going to last very long. That's at least some good news. It does include Bella Vista. So the folks in Bella Vista, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just move away from some of those windows if you can. You potentially have ping pong sized hail coming out of this. Just some crossroads for you. Here's going to be Highway 71, Arkansas Highway 340 here. This is going to be McNell Road right here. That along 71, anywhere between 340 and McNell Road, right along Highway 71, that's where the largest of those hailstones are likely to be falling right now. This is what radar shows us as those pinks and those purples. That's its way of telling us that's where you've probably got golf ball, ping pong size ball hail at the max. Now that doesn't mean that all of the hailstones falling are that size. It's often a mix, right? It's often some small mixed in with some larger stones. It's rarely ever just uniform one size. So you've probably got some small hail at times there mixing in. This is our severe thunderstorm warning for Benton County. That is going to move over towards Pea Ridge. Pea Ridge is included in this severe thunderstorm warning, especially if I'm on the west or north side of Pea Ridge. I'm going to want to be mindful of this. New data just came in. That storm is picking up some forward speed, and so right now it is going to be on the west side of Pea Ridge, crossing Highway 94, Arkansas Highway 94. That'll be moving up towards the Jacket community on the Missouri side of the state line. As we continue to get new data in, I'm looking from the Springfield radar there, and I think now I'm probably going to be looking from let's see, probably the Tulsa or the Fort Smith radar. Just gives us a few different vantage points to truly understand exactly what the storm is doing. That hail core seemingly a little bit more broad than it was, which tells us maybe that storm is perhaps growing and intensifying a little bit there as well. There is a strong thunderstorm, but it's not severe moving through Bentonville at the moment. This is really the only severe thunderstorm warning we've had in a couple of hours. We had one in Sallisaw, parts of Sequoyah County earlier in the evening. That one fizzled out pretty quickly, thank goodness. The hope is this one does too. Whether or not it does, once it crosses that state line, you're technically going to be taken care of by the Joplin television stations. And so we're going to keep you posted until this does move out of our territory. Pea Ridge, though, right now, you need to be mindful that you've got a large hailstorm moving into your neck of the woods. It's a cell that really, truthfully, was really behaving. It wasn't causing a lot of issues at all. And then it just pulsed up really, really quickly. I'm going to give you some streets here that are going to be involved along Arkansas Highway 94, McNelly Road, Mariano Road, Grosvenor Road. That's where that hail core is right now. You can see the strongest part of this downpour. Minimally, you got some heavy rain. There's more than likely some small hail moving through that part of the area as well. In terms of any rotation, I didn't see any other just a second ago, but it's really important for us to just double check, see if that's changed. It is not. Right now, this is predominantly a hailstorm. Let's see. No updates from that right there. We'll get another radar scan to come on here real shortly. If you're in Bella Vista, the worst is now to your east. That's some good news for those of us in Bella Vista. Not to say you don't have a strong storm moving through, you clearly do. But in terms of the one that is severe warned, you can see this orange polygon. That's the actual warning itself from the National Weather Service out of Tulsa. It expires in 1 minute. I suspect they might have to extend it by a couple of minutes, or hopefully it crosses that state line and we're going to be in a little bit better shape. Of course, we have the 10 o'clock newscast coming up. We'll give you an update there. Before I wrap up this live stream, before we get to the 10 o'clock newscast, I'll run through live radar around the area and give you an update on the forecast as well. We maintain a severe thunderstorm watch for everyone in the 5 News viewing area until 11 o'clock tonight, at which point it's our hope that the storm field will continue to decrease and we'll start to see lower severe weather potential. May not happen that quick, may have to get an extension on that watch, but at any rate, this is the one cell we're looking at the moment, waiting for Doppler radar to provide us a little bit more information right now. I would expect that hail to be falling right along Arkansas Highway 94 outside of Pea Ridge, getting closer and closer to the Missouri-Arkansas state line. We're talking about ping pong size hail potentially out of this cell. Again, it doesn't all fall as ping pong size hail. Sometimes it's a good mix. And that warning is now expired. That cell is not any weaker, in my opinion. I suspect once we get the newest data in, that cell, because it was picking up a decent amount of forward momentum, we'll find that hail core closer to the jacket community. We'll bounce around to the Springfield radar and see if it looks a little bit different for us. That is the Springfield. So let me go back to the Tulsa or Fort Smith radar, see if it looks any different. Yeah, okay, so the Fort Smith radar has a little bit quicker of an update. It has that now getting very close to exiting our viewing area soon. While we're here though, while we're on this stream, let's just do an area-wide reset. There's a lot of other thunderstorms happening. That was the one that was severe, but we do have a cluster of storms ranging from southwestern Benton County, Adair, Washington, Crawford, Sebastian, Sequoyah, and some more in LaFleur. Today got a slow start. Things really materialized a couple of hours later than anticipated, which you might be bummed about. But in many ways, that's actually good news. When these storms fire up in the afternoon, they have more daylight, more sunshine, which is just jazzing up the atmosphere, it's adding fuel to the fire, so to speak. And so the fact that these really started moving in a little bit later is beneficial. Doesn't mean it negates the severe weather threat but completely, but it does help us to some extent. Right now, it looks like Crawford in Sebastian County is getting a pretty strong thunderstorm. We'll take a closer look at that. One of these, the one that's moving through Mountainburg right now, it did have some penny-sized hail when it moved through Sequoyah County over towards Muldrow and Roland. We did have a report from Bryant in Muldrow. He confirmed that, what radar was seeing. These storms have a decent amount of lightning with them, certainly the one west of Fort Smith as well. Let me take a look at the hail and the rotation now, just to make sure that nothing's there. Nothing's there, but I also do see potentially some strong winds with this cell right on the LaFleur Sequoia County line. That's going to be coming up towards Bacola. A little bit of an inflow notch there. Let's watch that one pretty closely. I want to show you this. I've got my eye on our ACHE camera, AIC, Arkansas Colleges of Health Education camera. That's looking in South Fort Smith, and tonight I've got it pointed off towards the west, right into that storm. As you look there, you're going to find near frequent lightning and thunder. You also see a lowering of that cloud deck right there, so we're looking really well into that storm. I've got a really good view of that specifically. In fact, I'd like to also zoom out on that just a little bit to make sure we can see the whole storm up and down it. Right now, the time is 9:32. It's our first real severe weather event of the season. Things have been mostly tame for us tonight, and our hope is that continues to be the case, although certainly no guarantee. These storms are starting to have a little bit more organization and a little bit more structure to them, as you can well see right here. Pretty good view of that structured storm right there. It almost looks like a wall cloud. I don't believe that it actually is. May very well be a shelf cloud, I think is more than likely what's happening with that specific cell. Lightning, of course, and the town lights are helping us see that cell a little bit closer. We'll go back to live radar. This Crawford County cell is also pulsing up just a bit. I'd like to go into that one specifically. This is the one I just showed you near Mountainburg, and it's moving towards the northeast as well. 40-mile-per-hour winds and potentially penny-size hail coming out of that one. You can see that cell it's moving quickly at this point. It's right along I-49. So here's Mountainburg. Here's, of course, the iconic 71 highway. And the worst of that cell is going to be just off to your west. That is going to be tracking across 49 near the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. Moves probably close to Bidville before moving the worst of it probably back into southeastern Washington County, extreme southeastern Washington County. Other thing I've noticed on this other one, I want to do this. I'm going to go into this a better mode for us here. Saw something of interest in that cell coming into Fort Smith. Now these cells are kind of interacting with each other. They are somewhat discrete, which tells us, they're not necessarily competing for energy as much as they would be if there were more of them, but it is certainly something to watch. This is a little hook echo. I don't necessarily love the sight of that. That doesn't necessarily mean a tornado's a brewing, but it is certainly something that catches my attention, and I want to watch that relatively closely. That hook would right now be on top of the Choctaw Casino in Bacola. We'll take a look at our velocity just to see if there's any rotation there. And there's no rotation, but there is some higher wind speeds that are being sampled by the radar. And of course, with the radar being right here, we've got a really good view at some of those winds. When you look at it, you can probably sample, I'm going to say this is probably 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. Okay, really close to it, 45, 45. That's on the verge of becoming a severe weather threat, and that would probably be some straight line winds pushing out of that storm. So that's of interest to a lot of us. And that's probably inflow into the storm as well, given where we are in proximity to that radar. So that means that storm probably has a healthy amount of air flowing into it. We'll have to watch that pretty closely over the next few minutes. I don't necessarily love the look of that one or the one moving through Mountainburg at the moment. Again, look doesn't really mean anything. In terms of overall severe weather ingredients, they're more conducive for hail and high wind tonight. There's not really much of a tornado potential, but as we've said in all of our updates, risk isn't zero necessarily. And so, yeah, we'll watch these. Current time is 9:35. No active warnings for our neck of the woods. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning producing some large hail. It really pulsed up, and it seemingly has really kind of just fizzled out as it approached the Missouri state line. And it is kind of parking itself at this point. Sped up, produced some large hail, and then kind of just stopped and fizzled out. And that's really what the one in Sequoia County did earlier too. It was severe warned, and the warning was canceled real early after that cell started to weaken. We'll go into LaFleur County. They've got a strong thunderstorm now moving into, let's see, the central part of the county, just south of Poteau. We may have to take a look at our Poteau Hospital camera. This one's going to be just to the northeast of Tallahena, west of Heavener. Got a lot of friends there in Heavener, south of Worcester, south of Fanshawe, pretty much just along and east of Oklahoma 271. You can see a decent amount of lightning there. I know you're probably hearing the thunder. There might be some small hail. Yeah, it looks like just a little small hail core right there. My guess is that's probably going to say P to penny size hail. When we look at that, yeah, it does say penny size hail. That's going to be moving towards, let's see, that's going to be Reichert Summerfield Road, the community of Reichert, County Road 156. County Road 154 there in mid to southern LaFleur County is where that little pocket of hail is. That cell is moving into an area that is going to be a little more favorable for the potential of some strengthening. And so we'll watch that one to see if it doesn't start to produce a little bit more hail for us. Right now, though, it's behaving about as much as it can. We'll go about wide one more time. We're here, got a 10 o'clock newscast, at which point we're going to have to end this stream. But if there are any tornado warnings, you know the drill. We break in, we cover everything up and keep you safe as much as we can. Severe thunderstorm warnings, we'll keep the streams going up until the point we've got the warnings expired. It's kind of our just standard operating procedure around here. So we've got the stream going now. I'm here. If you're just now tuning in, I'll take you through kind of what we're thinking for the next little bit, and then I'll probably go do some final touches on the forecast for the 10 o'clock newscast. No active warnings. I started the stream a little bit ago because there was a warning near Bella Vista. That has fizzled out. There are a couple of strong thunderstorms here in the River Valley. Crawford and Sebastian County are where the two strongest of thunderstorms are at the moment. Neither are severe, although they, especially this one moving through Mountainburg, does have the potential for a little bit of hail, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one moving through parts of Fort Smith in the greater Sebastian County area doesn't have a little bit of hail with it. If not right now, it certainly could be on the trajectory for the potential of some hail. We look into that, and it does look like there is perhaps just a little bit mixing in with probably some heavy rain right there on the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line along Interstate 540. Of course, that's going to be right near the casino, Pocola, Choctaw Casino in Pocola. Let's see, what does it want to sample? I'm going to guess P or less than, okay, yeah, pretty small. That is going to be coming up 71, eventually over towards 540. I do think that comes probably close to a large majority of us on Rogers Avenue, certainly Mercy Hospital. We have a camera there too. We'll be able to take a look at that once that cell gets a little bit closer. Let's see, we had 1 inch, that's me quarter size hail just coming in out of Bella Vista. That was pretty much known, right? We kind of knew that was going to be the case. This hail core situated right there along Highway 271 South, coming up on 540. Old Greenwood Road is going to be right here. That is going to be eventually tracking across 22. Rogers Avenue, moving towards Mercy Hospital. Caroline Cross Park right here, crosses the Arkansas River, and assuming it's still maintaining its strength, it may move a little bit of hail over towards Highway 59 on the Crawford County, the Van Buren side right there. All right, that's where we're at right now. No active severe thunderstorm warnings. That's good. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this stream up. Got about 20 minutes until your 5 News at 10. You can catch that, of course, over the traditional airwaves, streaming free on 5 News Plus, your mobile apps. If there's any warnings overnight tonight, and I suspect there'll probably be at least 1 or 2 more, we'll fire up the live streams, and you can find us just about anywhere you could possibly imagine, from Facebook to YouTube to your mobile phones to, of course, on your Roku, Apple TV, and your Amazon Fire Stick devices. That's where you can also find live Doppler radar scanning in between those warnings. So for now, we'll go ahead and send you right back to whatever you are doing this evening, and we hope you'll join us on your 5 News at 10.